Good morning and welcome to Berlin. This city is full of metro lines and beautiful stations. So let's explore my top 10 most beautiful metro stations in Berlin. Welcome to number 10 on the list, Klosterstrasse. This station was recommended to me by Mr. Sandwich, mostly because of two special things this station has. The first is this, an old metro train wagon that has been placed at the entrance and exit of the station. The second special feature is that the station has images of trams and metro trains hanging along the entire walls. Like most metro stations in Berlin, this station is built just below the surface. This is because they were built with the cut and cover method, where, simply put, a trench is dug, a metro line is built and the trench is then covered again. Cheap and technically the most feasible in that time. When we leave the station, we see that the station is located in a historic part of Berlin. The arch over the entrance fits well with this. Welcome to station 9 on the list, Unter den Linden. This station is by far the newest on this list, opening in 2020. It's just about 4 years old now. This station is part of an extension of the U5 towards Alexanderplatz and was built right under the existing U6, making a smooth transfer possible. Unfortunately, this meant that the existing station on the U6, Französische Straße, which was located a little further to the south, had to be closed. As far as I'm concerned, this is a small disadvantage, but absolutely necessary because transfer times must be kept as short as possible. So thumbs up Berlin. Oh, by the way, this is a small loading gauge train on a large loading gauge line, but I will explain that to you later because first we are going to the next station. Welcome to Schlesische Store. This station gives me a bit of a farm feeling with those roof tiles on the canopies in combination with the bend in the tracks. I don't know. Also with the brick building incorporated into it. I just like it. But to tell you a fact, did you know that this station was a terminus station at the time of the Berlin Wall? After this ban, the tracks crossed the Spree River with the Oberbaumbrücke, which was at the border at the time. The Oberbaumbrücke is a beautiful bridge, by the way. This is a small loading gauge station, by the way. The difference is... oh wait, it's time to go to the next station. Deutsche Oper is a station with 4 platform sides equipped with green columns in the middle. I don't know exactly what this is, and I also wonder why there is a box here that prevents you from using this platform in a passenger service. After my online research, I thought it would look nicer. Even when you get to the surface, it isn't that beautiful at all. Anyway, let's move to the next one, and I think I have to reconsider the station ranking at the end. This is Hackische Markt, an S-Bahn station on the East-West railway line through the city center. For the public transport nerds among us, I know this is not an U-bahn, but I don't care. I make the rules. For the other people, the difference between an S-Bahn and an U-bahn is that an S-Bahn is more like a train and also goes further outside the city than an U-bahn. Anyway, The reason I have this station in the top 10 is because I think the brick walls with the steel girders and the wooden roof simply fit together nicely. Unfortunately, when the platforms were made longer, a canopy was added that, in my opinion, does not fit at all. Alright, let's go to the top 5. Welcome to Hermannplatz, a station with some height, which is quite special for a Berlin metro station. The reason for this is that this is the deepest platform of the cross station and that this space is built, as it were, like a U around the platform above. When you come from outside and enter the station, you are greeted by such a hall. I think that's pretty impressive. And those little details in the ceiling? I love it. It's a bit of a shame that there were construction works on the other side, but whatever, on to the next. Welcome to Vierberlinerplatz, but unfortunately I found out that it was under construction work too. So no metro trains this time, but beer tables and benches. With the exception of those, I think that the atmosphere of the past has been very well preserved on this platform. Which is funny, because the other platform and the building on the surface are typically 1970s. Which is in great contrast. Welcome to U-Bahnhof number 3, Rathaus-Spandau, the most western metro station in Berlin and terminus of the large loading gauge line 7. At least for the time being. An extension of the line is planned and they have more plans for the station. They want to extend the small loading gauge line 2 to here and beyond. When they constructed the station, they had already taken this into account, so there is room for 4 tracks. Of these, only the middle 2 are now in use. During my research, the station immediately stood out to me with its pillars, lamps and yes, actually the whole picture. I think this station definitely earns it to be in the top 3 most beautiful stations of Berlin. Oh, now that we are talking about the large and small loading gauge thing, I might as well explain it very briefly for those of us who don't know what it is. Basically, a train has 2 and perhaps more gauges. You have the track gauge, where Berlin uses standard gauge across the entire network. But you also have loading gauge. That's basically how high and wide the train is, and that's important if you don't want to hit the platform or have a large gap between the train and the platform. The Berlin metro network has 2 different loading gauges. Very inconvenient, although there must be an historical reason for this. But now, one part of the train fleet cannot be exchanged with the other, unless you widen the small gauge trains with planks things, as is currently temporarily done on the U5. Well, that's enough. I want to go to the next station. Welcome to perhaps the strangest station on this list, Berlin Hauptbahnhof. There must be a U-bahn station hidden somewhere in this 3-story complex. And that makes the station technically eligible? Anyway, who cares? We're already there. Well, this is Berlin Hauptbahnhof. A station built from scratch in 2006, made of glass and steel. This, in combination with the 3 levels, makes it an enormously impressive structure. The station is served by all kinds of trains, ranging from international to high-speed to S-Bahn trains. This is partly via the north-south connection, which is located in a tunnel, and partly via the Stadtbahn, the east-west railway, where Hackische Markt is also located. The relatively new U5 that we have already seen at Unter den Linden starts from this station. On to number 1, but before I did that, I had to be the typical tourist, eating delicious currywurst. Look, that's the Reichstag. And this is the Brandenburger Tor? Whatever. Let's go to the number 1 most beautiful U-bahn station of Berlin. Welcome to the number 1 most beautiful station of Berlin, Heidelberger Platz. With its stone pillars and ceiling, it is in stark contrast with any other metro station in Berlin. The station gives the feeling as if you are standing in a cathedral, really nicely done by the builders at the time. At the entrance you will find this glass dome. What else can I say? Oh yeah, I based the order of the stations on my online research, but after visiting I changed the order to this. Thank you for watching and join me next week in the Benz, when I go to a former railway yard that has now been transformed into a park, and all kinds of other things. Bye!